The man who needs nothing gains everything. What happens when the person you gave everything to treats you like just another option? Let that question sink in. You showed up. You gave your time, your energy, your loyalty, believing that if you just proved your worth, she would see it. But she didn't. She took you for granted, assuming you'd always be there, always waiting, always available whenever it suited her. And the worst part? You tolerated it. You accepted the bare minimum, thinking that if you just held on a little longer, things would change. But deep down, you already knew the truth. She never saw you as a priority. You were just another option, replaceable, disposable. But that ends today. Because today, you take back your power. This isn't about revenge. It's not about proving anything to her. This is about you, becoming a man who no longer seeks validation from someone who never valued him in the first place. A man who understands the ultimate power, emotional control. She thought you'd always be around. She thought she could string you along, keep you as a safety net while she explored other options. She was wrong. The moment you detach, the moment you truly walk away without looking back, is the moment everything changes. Not just for her, but for you. Because now you become something she never expected. A man beyond her reach. A man who has mastered himself so completely that her absence no longer affects him. And that, my friend, is the ultimate shift in power. She thought she could treat you like an option. Now she'll learn what it feels like to be discarded. Not because you're playing games, not because you want to hurt her, but because you finally understand that your time, your energy, and your attention are valuable. And when you take those things away, she'll feel it. She will feel your absence like a wound. The silence will eat at her. The indifference will drive her insane. She will question, she will wonder, she will regret, but by then it won't matter. Because by then, you won't care. She never had to wonder if you'd be there, never had to question if she had your attention. She knew, no matter how little effort she put in, no matter how much she pushed you aside, you'd still be there, waiting, hoping, ready to give her your time at a moment's notice. And that was the problem. She never had to earn it. She never had to fight for it. And people don't value what's handed to them without effort. They don't appreciate what's always within reach. She had options, so in her mind, you were just another one, not a priority, not a necessity, just someone she could pick up and put down whenever it suited her. And you played along, not because you were weak, but because you believed she would eventually see your worth. You thought if you just held on a little longer, if you just showed her how much you cared, she would wake up and realize what she had. But she didn't. She kept taking, and you kept giving, until one day, something changed. You stopped, you disappeared, no warnings, no explanations, just gone. And that's when she felt it. That's when it hit her. Because for the first time you weren't there. For the first time she had to sit with the silence. And silence is deafening when it comes from someone who was always there. It makes people question, makes them reflect, makes them feel the absence like a weight pressing down on their chest. And now she's feeling it. Not just in her mind, but in her soul. Because she never thought this day would come. She never thought she would lose you. But she did, and nothing will ever feel the same again. And now she feels it. The absence, the silence, the shift. She scrolls through her phone, half expecting your name to pop up. But it doesn't. She lingers on old messages, rereads conversations where you once poured your heart out, where you once chased, where you once cared. But now, nothing. And that nothing is suffocating because she expected a reaction. She expected you to reach out, to ask what went wrong, to fight for her attention. That's what most men do. They beg, they plead. They try to explain their worth as if their value depends on her recognition. But not you. Because the moment you detach, the moment you stop reacting, you change the entire game. She had power over you because you gave it to her. Because you made her approval the measure of your own self-worth. But not anymore. Now she's the one wondering why you haven't called, why you haven't checked in, why you haven't asked if she's okay. She expects anger. She expects arguments. She expects desperate texts and long-winded explanations. But all she gets is silence. And that silence is louder than anything you could ever say. Because silence is final. Silence is power. Silence tells her you're done, not because you're playing a game, not because you want to teach her a lesson, but because you have nothing left to give. And that's what drives her insane. The uncertainty, the unknown, the realization that, for the first time, she no longer has control. Because when you stop needing her, when you stop waiting for her validation, when you stop reacting to her every move, that's when she finally understands what she lost. But by then, you won't even care. And that's when she starts to feel it. At first, she brushes it off, tells herself you're just playing hard to get, that any day now, you'll crack. You'll send that late-night text, you'll reach out looking for closure, trying to talk things through. Because that's what men do, right? They can't handle silence. They need answers. They need validation. But days go by, then weeks, and nothing. No calls, no messages, no reaction to her posts, no sign that you even care. And suddenly, it's not so easy for her to ignore you anymore. Because silence, true, unwavering silence, is something she never expected. Silence makes her question. Silence makes her doubt. Silence forces her to confront the one thing she never thought she'd have to face: losing you for real. She scrolls through old messages, replays old conversations, searching for signs of what went wrong. She checks your online status, hoping to see that little green dot. But you're nowhere to be found. And that drives her insane. Because when you were there, she never appreciated it. But now that you're gone, she realizes something she never saw before. She wasn't the one in control. She never was. You see, most men make the mistake of trying to explain themselves, trying to prove their worth, trying to get closure. But a Stoic man, he doesn't ask for closure. He becomes it. He doesn't beg for answers. He moves forward without them. And that's what makes her regret losing you. Not because of anything you said, not because of anything you did, but because of what you didn't do. You didn't react, you didn't chase, you didn't try to prove your worth, you simply disappeared. And now she's left with nothing but silence. And that silence, it's the loudest statement you've ever made. Before we dive into lesson number 4, we'd like to take a moment to thank you for staying with us halfway through this video journey. In every moment, we can learn and grow. And the fact that you are here listening and reflecting with us is a tremendous gift that I cherish every minute. To help us spread these valuable lessons to even more people, please hit the like and share buttons for this video. Each share is a small but meaningful act, much like the timeless lesson Stoicism offers. Let's continue exploring and embracing these everlasting pieces of wisdom together. Once again, thank you for your continued support. She thought she had you figured out, thought she could pull away, act distant, ignore your efforts, and you'd still be there, waiting, hoping, chasing. She thought she could disappear for days, even months, and the second she decided to give you a little attention, you'd come running back like nothing ever happened. And for a while, that's exactly how it was. Because you made one mistake. You needed her more than she needed you. Or at least, that's what she believed. And in relationships, power doesn't belong to the one who loves the most. It belongs to the one who needs the least. That's why she felt so confident, so in control. She knew she could treat you however she wanted, and you'd still be there. But not anymore. Because something changed. You changed. You finally saw things for what they were. You finally understood the truth. She was never the source of your happiness. She was never the one completing you. She was just the one distracting you from becoming who you were meant to be. And the second you realized that, everything shifted. You stopped waiting. You stopped seeking. You stopped reacting. And that's when she started to feel it. That's when the panic set in. Because now she's the one questioning herself. She's the one wondering why you haven't called, why you haven't reached out, why you haven't fought to keep her in your life. And the answer is simple. You don't need her. You never did. And that realization, it hits harder than anything you could ever say. Because now she's the one who lost control. Now she's the one who feels powerless. Now she's the one chasing something she can never have again. And you're free. And that's when everything changes, not for her, but for you. Because while she's busy wondering where you went, questioning if she made a mistake, scrolling through old conversations looking for a sign that you still care, you're out there evolving, no longer trapped in the past, no longer waiting for someone who never truly valued you. Instead, you're building. Brick by brick, step by step, you're creating a version of yourself so powerful, so unshakable that the man she once knew, he no longer exists. You hit the gym, not to impress her, but because you respect yourself enough to demand more from your body. You sharpen your mind, feeding it knowledge, discipline, and wisdom, because a strong mind controls everything. You focus on your finances, not just to make money, but to create freedom, because the man who controls his money controls his future. And most importantly, you master your emotions, no longer reacting, no longer seeking validation, no longer letting anyone dictate your worth. And here's the irony. This is the moment she starts to notice. The moment she feels your absence more than ever. The moment she realizes you were never weak, never disposable, never just another option. She assumed you'd always be waiting. But now, she's the one waiting. She's the one wondering. She's the one feeling what you once felt. But by the time she understands what she lost, you won't even care. Because the version of you she once knew is gone, and the man you've become, she can't reach him. Not now, not ever. And when she comes back, and she will, you'll recognize it instantly. It won't be some grand confession, no heartfelt apology, no sudden realization of how amazing you were. No, it'll be subtle. A simple, "Hey, how have you been?" A like on an old photo, a random reaction to your story. Maybe she won't even reach out directly. Maybe she'll just start showing up in places she knows you'll be hoping to catch your attention. But don't be fooled. This isn't love. This isn't regret. This isn't her finally appreciating your worth. It's a test. She doesn't miss you. She misses the control. She needs to know if she still has access to you. If she can still pull you back in. If she can still make you chase. And most men, they fail this test. They see her name pop up and suddenly all logic disappears. They think, maybe she's changed. Maybe she finally sees what she lost. Maybe this is my chance. And just like that, they're back in the same cycle. Because the second you engage, the second you respond, the second you give her that tiny piece of validation, she wins. She gets the confirmation she was looking for. You were never really gone. And once she knows she still has you, the game resets. She pulls away again, she disappears again, and you're left exactly where you started. But not this time. Because you've outgrown the game. You don't need her messages, her breadcrumbs, her empty attempts at reconnecting. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need her. So when she tests you, you don't react, you don't respond, you don't even acknowledge. Not out of spite, not to play your own game, but because you genuinely don't care anymore. And that drives her insane. And that's the real victory. Not that she regrets it, not that she wonders about you, not that she second guesses her choices. The real victory is that you don't care anymore. You've moved beyond the need to prove anything to her, to anyone. You no longer waste energy replaying the past, questioning what went wrong, wondering if she ever truly cared. Because none of it matters now. What matters is that you are free. Free from the weight of seeking her validation. Free from the endless cycle of hoping she'll see your worth. Free from the emotional chains that once kept you stuck in place. And when you reach that level of detachment, when her name, her face, her absence no longer trigger a reaction in you, that's when you know you've won. Because the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And now that's all she is to you. Think about how much time you wasted thinking about her. How much energy you poured into trying to keep her, how much space she took up in your mind. And now, she's nothing more than a shadow in your past. Just another lesson, just another chapter, one you've already closed. And here's the final irony. The moment you stop caring, the moment you truly let go, is the moment she feels it the most. Because for the first time, she no longer has a hold on you. And that realization will haunt her far more than any words you could ever say. But by then, you won't even notice. Because while she's stuck looking back, you're too busy moving forward. She thought you'd always be there. Thought she could walk away, explore other options, keep you in the background. Like a book on a shelf, waiting to be picked up whenever she felt like it. She believed you would chase. That no matter how much she overlooked you, no matter how much she took you for granted, you'd still be waiting, still hoping. But she was wrong. Because one day, you stopped. You didn't argue, you didn't beg, you didn't try to prove anything. You just disappeared. And now she's the one looking back. Now she's the one scrolling through old messages, replaying old memories, wondering if she made a mistake. Now she's the one feeling the absence of something she once dismissed. But by the time she realizes it, it no longer matters. Because the man she knew, he no longer exists. You've evolved. You've built yourself into something greater. You've outgrown the need for validation, for approval, for revenge. None of that concerns you anymore. Because now, your focus isn't on proving your worth to her, it's on becoming your worth. And that is the ultimate shift. She thought she was the prize. She thought she was the one making the decisions, the one with all the power. But the truth? You were always the prize. She just didn't see it, and now she never will. Because the man who needs nothing gains everything. If this message hit you deep, good. That means you're waking up. You're seeing yourself for who you truly are. Not an option, not a backup plan, a man of value. And from this moment forward, you carry yourself as such. No more chasing, no more proving, no more waiting for someone to recognize your worth. Because the truth is, you were never losing her, she was losing you. And now, you move differently. You walk with purpose, you build with discipline. You master yourself so completely that no one, not her, not anyone, can ever shake your foundation again. If you're ready to step into that power, comment below, "I own my power." Thanks for being with Stoic Heart on this journey today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts or suggestions for future topics, so drop a comment below. See you in the next video.